All right. Good morning. I'm going to look at the time. It's 10:07 a.m. Right? So I was about to give you an estimate of how long before midday it's going to be. So it'll be about what? 1 hour 52 minutes now. Actually, it's now 10:08. All right. So, let me close my door. Give me a second because I want to block out some noise. Don't know if you can hear me. No, mind you. I don't know why I did not call. You know, I call this up with bro, just slightly a professional presentation, but I don't know. Maybe I should have called this completely. I don't know. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. This is an example of faceless content. You're actually hearing me, but you're not seeing me. Maybe I'm not in appropriate attire at the moment. So maybe because I'm not in my signature, you know, outfit. Oh my God. Yeah, I never get used to that. Ah, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I absolutely hate Kingston, Jamaica. I don't think I hate my country. I just hate Kingston because I'm trying to have a random thought. Just a thought. Just want to get a sentence out, and I keep getting interrupted by bikes, trucks, life. Ah man, it's too much. It's a little bit too much. All right, so I wanted to do something similar to what I've done before, right? I want to share some videos that I need to upload, and I'm going to pay very close attention to what I say in my videos. All right, so this one is called 20250809, which means August 9, 2025. So this video is August 9, 2025. All right, so what do I have to say in this video here? Oh, hold on. Let me turn up the volume and let me scale myself back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was the 9x16 version episode of Sup with Bro, right? So, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that, I suppose. If you ever, sometimes, look, you know what? I can't even, go into. Yeah, I guess you can call this a post-credit scene. I don't know. Now, look at this. You see, this is the kind of madness that we have to contend with. Like, you see that? You see this right here? Yeah, I always try to eliminate as much of that as humanly possible, and it just never seems to work out the way I want it. Let's see. Can I do it? Oh, okay. All right. See? Ah, all right. Yeah. So this is a perfect example of I'll feel better when I do it. Right? We suffer more from imagination than in reality. We do, and I know I do. I'm guilty. It's life is tough. Life is tough. LIT. When people say it's lit, nah, life is tough. That's what I meant. Not it's up or it's lit. Nah, life is tough. Yeah, that's my definition for lit. My definition for lit is life is tough. That's why you have to say I will die when I die. Or no, I will show that die when I die. Yeah, see? That sounds better. I will show that die when I die. Which is, I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every day or when I do it every time. So I will show that die when I die. Yeah. What? So let's talk about the light side. The light side of content creation is really simple. You feel like it did something with the day. Kind of like how people talk about going to the gym. You know, when you go to the gym, you feel like, oh, I don't feel like a failure anymore. I feel like I actually got something done. Right? You feel like, wait, there was a time when I couldn't do this, and now I can. I mean, it's just like anything, I would say. Any pursuit that you have, you know, if you try to bake a bread pudding, and you bake it once, and it tasted like bread pudding the very first time you made it, and it never, you know, it never tastes weird and disgusting and like it needs to, you know, like it needs to be thrown out. Yeah, that is why they say don't do it when you feel better. You'll feel better when you do it, right? So that's the light and dark side, the Jedi and Sith of, you know, the content creator script, that little life there. So see, yeah, no, you see how it's slightly unprofessional, right? Watch this. Come on now. Yeah, I inadvertently showed you you know, my wardrobe for Bossman Cinema. So let me apologize if you know, I can fix that. Yeah, one thing I never strive to be is a perfectionist. Sometimes the noises ruin the video, I make it a part of it. You know, sometimes dog scratching the door, pause, let the dog in. What am I gonna do? That's his routine. That's Benny. You know, every dog have their own personality, so you just have to know. Don't wanna get upset. You know what's gonna happen, right? You know the dog will come and scratch your door. Don't wanna get upset. Just press pause, go to the door, open it, make him come in. He's just gonna sit down anyway. Yeah. So sometimes you have to know how to, you know, you have to know how to adjust on the fly. And I mean, even in MMA, shout out to Champloo now, right? Even in MMA, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Yeah, you have to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, meaning you are a striker and you want to keep the fight, you know, like this, because that's what you like doing. You like doing kickboxing fights. But the truth is, you're in an MMA cage and you're up against somebody that grapples very well. So it's either you stop them from doing it to you, or you start it so that they are not able to do that to you. And you're probably wondering, well, what does that have to do with anything? It's just like this. You know, I have to contend with the noises. I have to contend with possible distractions or disturbances and still get the video done. So there's always going to be resistance. There will always be resistance. There will never be a time when there isn't resistance. You're going to face it. You have to take the bitter with the sweet, is what I'm saying. So technically, you know, yes, I said the light and the dark, the Jedi and the Sith. You have to take the bitter with the sweet. So maybe that's a Jamaican, and you know, the Jamaican colloquial analogy for talking about the journey of being a content creator. Yeah? Yeah. And see, one thing I try to do, I try to be fully dressed, so that just in case the camera drop, you know. Yeah. Hey, I don't want it to be a completely unprofessional presentation. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't trying to have a OnlyFans. No. Speaking of that, there was somebody, I think it was a mathematics teacher that posted their tutorials on Pornhub. Salute to you, I'm not so brave. I'm not that brave. I'm just not. I'll post mine on Twitch. You know, at least there's some degree of overlap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a little overlap there. Because when you go to Twitch streamers, you're learning about the gaming mechanics and how to play and the rules and how to win and what to do when you're losing and when to retreat, you know. So when you see people playing Dota, you see people playing, you know, even regular games like Bejeweled and things like that, you know. So I wouldn't mind taking my mathematics tutorial and placing it on Twitch, that's fine. That's fine by me. But I'm sorry, I don't. There's some kinds of play, yeah, that kind of play I don't mix with my work. Some play you can mix with your work, but not that. Nah, that gotta be way over there. Way over there. So anyhow, I'm just gonna waste some time now. I have about what 7.5 thereabout minutes left. You know, I had this idea that, oh, see that? No, this is the idea that I wanted to show everybody. Remember when I was talking about the Warcraft thing in the previous 9x16? This is you. You see that shadow right here? This is you in the corner of the screen. Imagine, now we're going to invert it now. Imagine the light as what, you get what I'm saying? It's opposite day. So the more you expand into the more you move into the stage, the more of the stage is revealed to you. So that's the visual I wanted to give everybody. You know, that means, yeah, I'm trying to get my shadow in all of the board. But you see, I'm not. You get the point I'm making, right? So you have to explore more of the territory so that more of it can be revealed to you, right? And it's the same thing with this. You know, you have to drown out the noise around you. You have to have a light so massive that the darkness disappears. And I think that's the idea. That's, you know, Gary Vee talks about it all the time. Alex Hormozy talks about it all the time. You have to do so much work that it's impossible for people to not notice. You know, and for me, I bask in authenticity. Why? Because when I look into where I am coming from, what did I always want to do? I mean, technically, yeah, you could say I always wanted to be a motivational speaker, but the type that I wanted to be was different. You know, this kind of motivational speaking, it's fine. I'm comfortable doing this. Why? Because I've been on a stage in front of thousands of people that don't know me. And people will ask me, do you get anxious in front of thousands of people? And I'll say, no. I don't get anxious about that at all. I don't have nerves like that. I get very comfortable in front of a massive audience. And I'm not saying that with any degree of exaggeration. If you put me on a stage and say, go out there and talk and entertain these people, I'm going to say, how are you doing? You know, it's a regular conversation. It's just another day for me. Because it's not even about, sure, you could say it's conditioning. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. It's conditioning, right? The conditioned fighter tends to do better as the marathon goes on, as the rounds continue, right? Fair. But, you know, being a rapper helped. So it's safe to say that whenever you're doing anything in life and it doesn't work out the way you expected it to, it did. It did, believe it or not, it actually did. Because being a rapper gives me the confidence to do any of these things. I don't have that, oh, I wonder if people are gonna pay attention. I don't have that. I don't have that shyness, and I don't have it. I don't know what it is, because being a rapper, you can't afford to have that sense of fear. Your body language is what people pick up on, and if they pick up on weakness on you as a, like, think of you being a rapper and you are there, the audience is an ocean of sharks. Pretty much that. And if you show even the slightest hint that you bled, that's it for you. You're cooked. Yeah, it's over. It is over for you. You are going to be, they're going to descend upon you, and that's where the buckle them start fleeing. You have a flop. You are going to flop. So, because of that, because of that background that I have in being a performer, this is easy. This is a lot easier. You know, because you don't have to rate me on my bars. You know, I don't have to. I have to impress you, I have to entertain you to some extent, but I have to make great analogies. I have to, you know, make points that are relevant to the discussion. So that's fine, and that's fair. When you're a rapper though, you know, you have to be on point, you have to be on cue. You know, you don't want to be missing your lines. You know, you don't want to do that. So you have, you know, your rhythm have to be, yeah, you can't miss a cue. But anyway, that's why it's called a, alright, hold on. See, I'm going to use my shadow. So, a slightly unprofessional presentation with Bossman rambling on. There we go. So see, yeah, you used to be here, right? And all of this was darkness. You remember the video. You remember. So I enjoyed making that. In fact, I wonder, you know what? Now you're not going to believe this. It got to about here. Got to about here and then cancelled on me. Now I'm trying to transfer the video from my phone to my tablet so that I can, you know, because obviously I wanted to make it a bit of a, you know, I wanted it to be spoiler free, but no, because of this. See, this is the, alright, there we go. Yeah, that's the frustration you have to deal with. Yeah, you have to deal with the frustration of getting that close only for it to just cancel and say, yeah, you've been notified that the transfer did not, yeah, the transfer is incomplete. So we got to here. We got here and I had to start over. So let's see if I'm going to be able to complete it this time around and get it to you before my video is done. Alright, so we're almost there. Almost there. Almost. Again, almost there. Yeah. So the question is, why am I bringing that up? Because there is a light on the dark side of the force. So yes, ladies and gents, there is a light and a dark side to concentration and walk further and further and further out. Right? It rewards you for taking the risk. It rewards you for being adventurous. In other words, cowardice is not rewarded. Not in that video. Answer. Okay, I was trying to stop my video perfectly on the 15-minute mark. All right, I was trying to do that. Yeah. All right, so what am I doing now? I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. So in the background, I'm currently copying the video that's a precursor to this one, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Listen, man. I have so many analogies, so many ideas, so many ways to get this thing done. So whatever. It's my brain putting myself to task, you know. All right, so let me show you. I showed you part 2. Let me show you part 1. Let's go. So let's click on share. Let's go here. Yes, that's what it's called. There we go. Whoa, wow, wow. Now I know which phone I need to use for my 9x16. This is the A13. When the A13 is shooting in 9x16, it look good. All right, I know what to do. I know what to do. All right, let's go. Let's see what I was saying here. Black tie, you know, coordinated with the black check mark on the Nike. All right, so let's go. Good morning, gentlefolks. Whether you're on LinkedIn or YFit, as I like to refer to it as, yeah, YFit is WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, right? Now, on today's episode, SUP with bro. Yeah? Slightly unprofessional presentation with Bossman rambling on. And that's the meaning of SUP with bro. Right? So, slightly unprofessional presentation with Bossman rambling on. Yes. So, anyhow, today's episode. It's twofold. Right? We're going to be talking about the light and the dark. We're going to be talking about imagination and reality. And more correctly, there is a philosopher, possibly a Greek philosopher. Please don't quote me on it just yet. But if you are familiar with this, let me know. Right? We suffer more from imagination than in reality. So I'll say that again. We suffer more from imagination than in reality. Yeah? So the question is, why am I bringing that up? Because there is a light and a dark side of the force. So yes, ladies and gents, there is a light and a dark side to content creation. A Jedi and a Sith of content creation for us who are CCOs. And a CCO stands for a content creator opportunist, right? Just in case you didn't know, right? So the meaning of CCO is content creator opportunist. Anyway, there is the light and there is the dark. And a lot of the narrative, or I guess the prevailing argument regarding being a content creator, you know, presenting your social media presence on all of these platforms. Everybody sells you on the idea of how easy it is. It's easy money. You know, how they sell you on this idea that all you need to do is post this amount of times a day, do this, do that, do this, do that. They give you all of the do's, right? So they tell you about all of this. They tell you about all of the light of the content creation side of life, right? They tell you the light side of the force. Yeah? All of the positives. The positives is that, oh, you know, you make all of this money, and you know, you build this community and you go viral, and you know, you really start making changes, big changes with your life, and you can buy houses, you can pay your team and pay your staff and literally change lives around you, and all of that is true. No lies were told. No lies were told. That is the truth of being a content creator. However, but as you would imagine, not enough conversation happens about this. There is the light side of it, but there's a dark side. You ever hear them say, your greatest enemy is your undisciplined mind? Or your greatest enemy is your negative thoughts? Going back to what I said in the very beginning. The very beginning of this episode of SUP with Bro, where I said, we suffer more from imagination than reality. So this episode, maybe you can say it with me, but in life, you have to take the bitter with the sweet. So for example, you hear all of that crap outside. I have to either endure that or ignore that to make this video. So why did I get rid of the Jedi? I'm going to tell you why. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be Emperor Palpatine. Right? Not trying to be Emperor Palpatine. But why did I get rid of the Jedi? I'll put it back. I'll put it back and I'll explain why we're going to talk about this. Because, bear with me and watch this. See, on the light side of the force as it pertains to the content creation aspect of life, I'll present it to you. So, on the plus side, we'll have this. One, you feel very much accomplished. You also have an excellent sense of fulfillment. You have visible results, and of course, all of which contributes to your great sense of purpose. The noise here in the background, that is a Sith, right? Me trying to do this video is the Jedi, outside is the Sith. In here is the butterfly, out there is the moth. In here is a Jedi, out there is a Sith. You see? That's why perspective is everything. Shout out to Bossman Teaching, since we all know Pi. D.I.E, perspective is everything. Anyway, back to this. So now that we know about this, why don't we start addressing the Sith? Some people would call it the elephant in the room, but you know, in any case, what about the dark? What would be the consequences, or maybe the pros and the cons? Ah, look at that. What's that? No, the dark side of content creation is that every day you are at war with your own imagination. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. Watch this. Watch this. Now this is what it means. Yeah? When you're at war with your imagination versus understanding your reality. This is where you are. This is where you are. This is where you were. This is where you want to be. You want to be closer to the end. Now mind you, you probably not going to understand this reference that I'm about to make. But this is a little bit more like what you are when you're playing a little game. A little game. My favorite game. You know, back before it was called Activision Blizzard. Yeah, no. No. My favorite game. Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos. Warcraft 3, Frozen Throne. And they borrowed that concept from their own game. StarCraft, Warcraft 2, you know, all the predecessors, all of the things that they had done before, they still maintained a lot of that philosophy, which is most of your screen, the area for your map looks like this. It's dark, right? So let me get rid of that right there. Get rid of that. All right. So in Warcraft, this is where you are. You are there. Yeah? That's where you are. And you have to explore the rest of the map for the darkness to dissipate. And that brings us back to this. In other words, what nobody tells you about the light side of the force as it pertains to being a content creator is this. You have to push through a lot of this dark for all of your light to shine. You have to. Think of yourself as the little candle. The more you walk into the unknown, is the more of the unknown that is revealed. The more the shadows are. The darkness dissipates. Yeah? So that philosophy has always been true within the development of Warcraft 3. When you're on the map, you're in this corner of the map. I mean, I obviously could have drawn a bigger, you know, map with a square and, you know, I make everything else dark and, you know, but yeah. This will do. Yeah? Similar concept. This is where you are, and this is where you're trying to explore all of this map. And in order to explore all of this map, you have to walk further and further and further out. Right? It rewards you for taking the risk. It rewards you for being adventurous. In other words, cowardice is not rewarded. Not in that video game. And certainly not in life either. Not in life, not in business, not in being a content creator, not in anything. So, suffering more from imagination and reality. Before I did this video, I was not in the best mental condition. You know, is look at reality. Your reality is you're not where you want to be. You are surrounded by this darkness. Here's the darkness that you're faced with. I could write them. You have bills that you're not able to pay, debts that you actually owe, dealing with the reality of being unemployed, facing disrespect for being unemployed, being rejected after interview after interview after interview after interviewing process, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and after all of those stages of those interviews, still rejected, still redirected. Yeah, pretty much little to no opportunity in the form of being rejected, leading to your unemployment, and so on and so on. This is that darkness that you have to overcome in order for all of this sift to go away, to become, to step out of the darkness into the light. Imagine you walking with your, whether it could be a torch, it could be a candle, whatever it is, right? Your candlelight or your torch. The more you walk out, the more the darkness disappears. And it happens like that in the video game as well. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the aim of the game. You have to push past all of that darkness to get to this stage of the game. Right? You have to. It's never going to be ideal. It's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be great. Yeah? You're going to be faced with a lot of resistance no matter what. You're going to be faced with people who claim to be family but they're more like relatives. You're going to be faced with that. You're going to be faced with abandonment and neglect. You're going to be faced with that. You're going to be faced with people doing the bare minimum because they can't bother. You're going to be faced with that. But then when you lead by example and you step out of that darkness into your light, this is what, so the untold aspect and the untold truth of being a content creator is that that's the darkness you have to overcome. There's a lot more darkness than there is light. And you have to fight. This is you. You have to walk all the way out here to push that darkness away to nothing. And it is not easy. Yeah, discipline that mind. But it's not that simple. That is why you have to take action. That is why you have to say, well, stick to the plan, not the mood. Forget about how you feel. It's not, I'll do it when I feel better. I'll feel better when I do it. And I feel better now that I've done this. Because now I can watch this video back. I can share it to you on LinkedIn, on Wi-Fi, WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I can share this to you everywhere. Reels, stories, everywhere. So that everybody can say, hey, look. Like, what did you think about this? Giving you the full version of it on TikTok, the full version of it on YouTube. And then on TikTok, you can press the full screen so that it goes from this to that, or, whatever. So, I guess the moral of the story is, this is the light and the dark side of being a content creator. And that was today's episode of SUP with Bro, otherwise known as Slightly Unprofessional Presentation with Bossman Rambling On. So, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I don't know. But as I said, you'll feel better when you do it. And I just did. So, I'm leading by example. Die when you die. Alright, hold on. No. There was sorry. Not sure if you heard that in the background. I was charging my phone. Alright. Let me see if I remember where I am. All right. I wanted to say, I will show that die when I die, which means I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. But I ran out of time. That's what happened. I ran out of time. Wait, hold on there. Right. So yeah, I hope my videos, at least I hope the intention of the message that I wanted to deliver, came out as well as I had hoped. Wait, all right, I'll go double check this. I'm not sure if I played this one already. Let me double check it. I might have played this already. Episode of Tough. That's what I meant. I did. Okay. So yeah, that's the chronological order of that. Let's go to the video that comes afterwards now. Oh, this is a 9-minute video. All right, let's go. We could do, sorry, yeah, we could do with a wardrobe change. Yeah, so post commentary. I don't know if I don't know. Post commentary. It could be spoiler alert or spoiler free. I don't know. I'm not even going to try and overthink it. I'll come up with some neat name for it. But in any case, what? Oh, right. So you see what happened? Patience paid off a little bit, right? Remember, we were at 67%. 67! And I had to literally do the transfer all over again. So I had to go through 167% of a download. Because the 67, it never went through. So the first 67, so you learn about life even through your own devices. I'm trying to transfer from my A13 to my tablet, and it reached 67, and I had to start over. And maybe that's a list, that's a metaphor. Come on. Yeah, they know how to ruin a good moment. They do. Yeah, these are the growing pains of being a content creator. You see, at the right angle it makes sense. But see, you start doing that, and all of a sudden you start picking up the light. You know what I mean? You start picking up the reflection of the device that you're using. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily listen, man. Listen. Hey, you gotta be careful when you use the screen share feature. You never know what's on your desktop. Anyway, fun and joke aside, come on. You know what I mean? So, you see? Yeah. So you have to do things from the correct perspective, right? Now that's me enjoying the fruit of my labor, right? Again, I have to show you. Ah, you see that? Oh, look at that. Okay, so yeah. Yes, I'm proud of my child. Yeah, man. Yeah, own it up. Own up your, own up your pitney. Own up your, yeah, a year of work, how you do it. Yeah. So anyhow, so why did I even bother to do another video here? Let me make up. Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to that. So what was I going to say to you? Right. 9-minute video. There's something fun you can do with that. Something fun you can do with a 9-minute video. Something I literally just stumbled across one of the days. Now let me lead by example and use this 9-minute video as an example. Yeah? So if I wanted to create 5 reels out of this, then I'm going to want to split up the video like this. Start from 0 seconds to 3 minutes, then go to the 1 minute 30 interval, and then create a 3-minute reel out of that. Right, so 0 to 3, then 1:30 to 4:30. Then what you do, add 1:30 to this, you get this one. Add 1:30 to that, you get 3. Add 3 to 130, you get 430. Add 430 to 130, you get 6. Right? So therefore, 130 to 430 is another 3 minutes. Then you go from 3 to 6. That was the Sith. Right? Jedi and the Sith. I am the Jedi, that's the Sith. Anyway, so yeah, with that being said, you move from the 0 to the 130. So yeah, so whenever you're doing your intervals to create the reels, you do it at these timestamps, right? So you have start at 0, then move to the 130, move to the 3, move to the 430, then move to the 6, and you get 5 reels out of a 9-minute video. So I'm going to try with this one and see, you know, yeah, see, let's see what comes of that. Yeah, you just have to have fun with the content you're making, honestly. You just have to. So for example, yeah, say after the things like that, you know, just to see if people are paying attention, you know, you never know. So yeah, so what else? So yes, in my slightly unprofessional presentation, I always try to inject a little bit of fun, you know. Because after all, what's the point of doing the video and you're in one suit all the time, you're in one tie all the time, you're in one hat all the time? No, we change wardrobe, we change the writing on the board, we change the color, we change it from red to blue, blue to red. Why not? So I am an advocate of creating the opportunity. No, I always forget this about every single video that I do, present, past, and future. It's like I need to do like a scan of what my right side looks like when I turn to my left, because I'm seeing something and it's just completely playing with my eyes right now, man. Come on. Anyway, it's fine. Hindsight is 2020. I'm noticing that I can see the red under the black, so it's not fully covering the tie. So yeah, it's throwing me off. So I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but that's now I'm having an OCD moment. I'm gonna try and write the lightly better beside the S. It looks a bit janky. Everything else looks fine. Unprofessional is okay. Presentation is okay. Everything else is just a slightly part that looks weird, but it's fine. Let's keep it moving. Sorry. Yeah. That was weird. Sorry about that. Yeah, create the opportunities. Create them. There was a time. All right, let me just give you some backstory. Before I was as experienced a teacher as I am today, right? As well as even more experience in content creation strategies and that sort of thing. So let me tell you just a little bit of backstory. When I had no experience, I had no true comfort in understanding the entirety of the curriculum of CSEC mathematics, right? I mean, I was learning. I was in the process of learning. Back then, I didn't have the clientele. I didn't have the, what's the word I'm looking for? The reputation. Didn't have the reputation at all. Nobody knew me. So I think I created like this PowerPoint version of a flyer. I created it. I asked, one of my relatives to print it out for me, and then after I printed it out, I went around to, I think, UTech and UE and different places, and I just posted the flyers in the notice boards and that sort of thing. And I did get calls back. People did call me back. And I look on something like that and I thought, okay, maybe I need to return to form. Because hey, I've been rebranding, right? I'm breaking the fourth wall at this point, right? Because obviously I like to portray just, okay, when I'm doing this is Bossman Digital Media, and not admitting that Bossman Teaching is actually the same person. Right? So for the sake of breaking the fourth wall, back then I had posted the flyers on the different campuses and so on, and I got calls back. Years later, I started a page called First Person Tutor, which I eventually renamed as Bossman Teaching. I eventually did that. But it was First Person Tutor. And that's when I was learning how to do the social media, learning how to run your ads and run them effectively so that you can get the results. And, back when Facebook just started using WhatsApp to attract customers for leads and that sort of thing. So it was a new thing back in 2019. 2019 was the first time I saw the connection between Facebook and WhatsApp. That's before Meta took over and bought both Instagram and WhatsApp. So hey, the more you know, man. More you know. In any case, I'm almost done with this episode of Sup with Bro. So I have to be mindful of where I put my hand. Anyway, done with that now. Well, it looks like I have unfinished business. So maybe I'll get into that. Yeah. I don't know why I don't just live underground. Like at this point it's just getting ridiculous. Like I might as well just live underground. Like let's just move to Atlantis, Might as well. Because this is just crazy. All right. Is there any other? Ooh, okay. Oh, we're gonna do this step by step. We're gonna do this. Let's go. I like this so far. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So for context, this is going to be some backstory on how I reinvented or rebranded or revamped the idea of first person tutor. So that's what you're going to be seeing right here. All right, so I know that was originally a slightly unprofessional presentation with Bro, right? Or Sup with Bro as we like to call it. So now let's just I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit. So over here, that's that little area where I set up the board to do the TikTok live, right? So let me just show you what that looks like. Right, so that's what that looks like. So now I guess I can take you to what first person tutor, only one first person tutor, would look like when I'm going live. Yes, ladies and gents, this is how I go from doing a slightly unprofessional presentation with Bro to an episode of only one first person tutor, right? So let's clear that from the board. Okay, so this is what an episode of, only one first person tutor, this is what it would look like, right? So let's say I wanted to give somebody, let me just, so this is an example of me going from Sup with Bro to an episode of, first person tutor, right? So this is just the behind the scenes of what that episode would look like, right? So of late I've been following a trend, right, where what some people do to enhance the brand of their classes online, what they do is they post a question, right, whether in picture form or video form, and they say to people, hey, find a solution and drop it in the comments. And I don't know, it works. They say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It definitely works, right? So what you do is you leave the question, you don't do anything to it, right? You can maybe give clues or whatever, but you don't answer the question until you get responses from people, right? It's a good tactic. I mean, if there was ever a trend that I think is a good idea and something that educators should follow, it's definitely this one. So yes, definitely follow this trend, right? So if you're a teacher that's a content creator, one of the things that you might want to do is you have a question, right? You place it on the board, you make a short video, maybe a 1 minute and 30-second video, saying to them, hey, these are the things that you could do in order to get the answer, but let me know how you went about doing it. I want to see how you got your answer to the question, right? That's really all you're doing, right? You're literally showing that, or rather, you want your audience, you want them to show you they're working. Because yes, you can give me the answer, but the answer is the easy part, right? The answer is easy. Everybody can give me the answer, right? So it's kind of like, you can tell me how to go viral, but the work that goes into going viral, yeah, that's the everyday. That's the doing it every day. You know, that is the, I will show that die when I die, which means I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every day. You understand? It's the everyday things that you do that make you go viral, not, oh, let me do this and doing this will make me go viral. No. You know, you have to be willing to say, hey, I'm going to do this every day. No matter how I feel, I'm going to say, well, I told you that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to do this. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'm going to do this. Monday and Friday, I'm going to do that. And stick to that no matter how you feel. Right? Do it for a month and just step back and see what happened. Do it for another month. Step back, watch, and see what happened. Do it for another month. And just keep doing that until you make it to a year. Because, again, in the words of Alex Hormozy, before you are great, before you are excellent, you have to be consistent. Right? And consistency is difficult. Why? Because you have to fight your own mind. You have to fight the darkness. Yeah? You have to fight the, boy, nobody not watching my video, nobody not sharing it, nobody not leaving comments. Right? Because nobody likes feeling like what they're doing is a waste of time. Right? Nobody likes that. Yeah, it's a god awful feeling. Right? So the voice that you're hearing right now, and just so you can understand, you're listening to the voice of your one Bossman Digital. This is an M, by the way, so let me apologize if it does not look, you know, there we go. So yeah, there we go. Right? So you're listening to the voice of Bossman Digital Media, explaining how I revisited the brand of first person tutor, right? And of course, for those of you who are into anything education, right, here is your tour guide. Your tour guide for that is on YouTube in the form of, and you have to spell it like this. So everything after the number 4 is in common. This is a number, the number 1, and these are in capital, right? So yeah, so if you're looking for Bossman Teaching First Person Tutor and we still learn, then you can always utilize this. Search for this on YouTube, right? Just search for that on YouTube. Yeah, that's your tour guide. That is your tour guide to everything education, right? The person you're listening to right now is Bossman Digital Media, basically showing you how I revisited the branding of First Person Tutor, right? And yeah, it's you know, sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to go and revisit things that you left behind. You know, because I did first person tutor, and now I'm looking at it and thinking, okay, well, if I want to do my videos as a 9x16, I can do it like this. And all my 9x16 videos will be done on the only one first person tutor brand, or just call it first person tutor for short. And the easiest way to find first person tutor is to type this on YouTube. Type this on YouTube, right? And of course, there's a featured channel section. So if you look on the featured channel section, you will actually find all of the pages that you're looking for. So you'll see the We Still Learn, you will see the Bossman teaching, you'll also see the first person tutor, right? But I also have to revisit it as well, just to make sure that it actually shows on the page, right? Because it may not be there as yet, so I might have to make that adjustment before you actually take your visit there. But in the event that you're not seeing it, what you can do, type this in YouTube. When you see more and more links, you tap on more links, and you will see a drop down of 3 YouTube channels, and of course you will see your first person tutor in there, right? So that's what you're going to want to do. So yeah, I feel very productive, very accomplished, you know, and it's fine. You know, some days you're not going to feel it, you know, you're not going to be motivated every day or inspired every day. So sometimes you just have to say, you know what, my mood doesn't matter, let me just get to work. You know, let me just get to work and just see what happens. So again, that's what it means when I say I will show die when I die, which means I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. So yeah, so thanks for spending your time with me. Yeah, I can say that I'm actually proud of that video, and I'll say why. Um, I'm not sure how easy it is to keep people engaged when there's no face to look at. You know, so when it's almost like you have to compensate for the lack of, you know, a personality in front of, you know. So yeah, sometimes I pretend like I am not the same person watching this video. So I view it as if I'm completely, like, I have no idea who made this video. You know, you're almost going like you're a visitor, you know. All right, so okay, so we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5th video. Okay, so we have, all right, let me see now. All right, these videos should not take very long, so let's just go into this one. Now this is a completely unprofessional presentation, whereas this is a slightly unprofessional presentation. So there's a difference. All right, so there is something else. Now mind you, yes, normally you'd see the whiteboard. Yeah, I did an episode where I revisited the branding of you know, first person tutor. So just by example, yeah, so you know, yeah, man of my word, right? So the person that you are talking to is, you know, the one above, formerly 1PT, right? Right, so yeah, I show better than I tell, right? That's me. I show better than I tell. Now, why am I making this video? Am I gonna make it a 9-minute video? Probably gonna do that. Let's do the 9 minutes. See the Sith coming? You hear that noise? Just listen to that. Just listen to that. Yeah. Yeah. See, no, look at that crap. You see that? Somebody could have told me, you know. Somebody could have told me. Oh, God. It's fine. It's fine. The next time you see me, I'm slapping that off. Yeah, because you know, I'm not even gonna get into it anyway. So what am I saying to you? Yup, I show better than I tell. Yeah. No, don't know if I got all of that, but yeah, it's fine. I'll figure it out. Anyway, what was I saying? So you remember what I was telling you about the Jedi and the Sith? Yeah, you see, there's a light and a dark. There's a bitter with the sweet, right? Always the bitter with the sweet. So the question is, what's the other aspect of being a content creator, like the untold truths of being the CCO, the content creator opportunist, the content creator? What's the untold truth about it, or an uncomfortable truth, or what should be an obvious uncomfortable truth? What is it really? Now, what should be an obvious uncomfortable truth is that every day you're going to be at war with your imagination. Remember what I said? You suffer more from imagination and reality. You are going to be of the opinion that because you're not seeing the views, you're not seeing the likes, you're not seeing the shares, you're not seeing the numbers, because the work that you do comes across as invisible, like nobody cares, like it's not relevant, and it's not, it's not picking up traction. Yeah, you're going to start telling yourself things. You're going to say, well, nobody cares. No, it's not a nobody cares. Yeah, but you just have to know. You have to figure out, oh, when I did this font, there were more people looked at it. Versus when I use this font, nobody cared. Ain't nobody trying to read that. So sometimes you can look at, subtleties, minor differences. I'll be like, wait, so people like it when you do this, but not that? People like it when you do that, but not this? So, you're going to be at war with your own imagination a lot of the time. Sometimes it's reality, sometimes it's not. And sometimes you're attacked by the enemy of the Autobots. Listen to that. Yeah, there's that. So moral of the story is that you're going to, again, be at war with your own imagination. You have Russ. Russ is a very dope independent artist, one of the best. If there's anybody to listen to when it comes to getting advice about being an up and comer and all of these things, he's like, if you don't have a studio in your house, you're BSing. You don't want it that bad, because you can't get as many sessions as I can get in. Or if you have a car, set up a studio in your vehicle, set up a studio in your house. So that's the kind of person you listen to when it comes to, if you're an up and coming artist, you listen to Russ. Yeah. Now, when it comes to businesses, I suppose you can listen to, Mr. Hormozy and, I guess Myron Golden and Gary Vee, right? But more to this point that I'm telling you, the idea of the bitter with the sweet, the light with the dark, the Jedi with the Sith. The reason why you have to pay attention to that duality is because you're going to be at war with what's up here. You're going to be discouraged. There's a lot of discouragement that's going to be in the way of you and what you want out of your content creation, out of your business, out of anything that you're trying to do. Remember what you saw, all the videos, right? I gave you the demonstration, you saw the visual. Yeah, so you have to go through a lot of dark so that the light can take up most of the map. For those of you who played Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne, when you explore more of the map, the fog dissipates. So that's something that you're gonna have to practice. You're gonna have to practice saying, hey, guess what? I have to be in a good mood. I have to continue regardless of how I feel. Now I can tell you a story. There was an incident that resulted in me not having access to some of my clothes, two of my whiteboards, and tables and chairs and that sort of thing. It was a disagreement regarding the rental agreement and the fact that I didn't have the money and all of these things. And as a result of that, I was locked out of the place and prevented from getting access to the things that I use to make my videos. And you look at things like that and you just say, you know what, just keep trucking. Because when people go out of their way to sabotage you, look at their life. They're not going anywhere anyway. So, let them have it. And when you have the money, for give them back the money, and then you take back your things and never speak to them again. Because that's how I operate. You know what? If you have demonstrated the capacity to sabotage me on purpose, then the worst thing is, these are the same people that stalk you online. They will see you live and jump into your life right after them disrespect you and things like that. So, you know, it's very strange. You know, and you know, again, the Sith. The Sith are here. The bitter is here. So the darkness is the fight that you're going to get from external forces. But there's a fight that you have with yourself that you need to win. Yeah, there's a fight with yourself that you need to win. You ever heard about Dark Link in the Legend of Zelda 2 on the golden cartridge? Way back in the Nintendo days when they went from the top-down view to the side-scrolling view. Yeah, there was a boss called Dark Link. You fought the dark version of yourself. There's an episode of Samurai Jack where Jack had to fight the dark version of himself. And he chose benevolence to defeat him. And did away with his anger. And the dark version of him just exploded and disappeared. So that's a war that you have to fight every single day. The war with your imagination. We suffer more from imagination than reality. We suffer more from the Genjutsu. We suffer more from the Kyoku Suigets. Yeah, from the Naruto and the Bleach. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? So, that is my moral of the story. Yeah? So yeah, I guess that's another episode of SUP with Bro. Right? A slightly unprofessional presentation with Bossman rambling on. And of course, I will tell you, I will show that die when I die. I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. Alright, so you listen to the voice of Bossman Digital Media here, right? Obviously this is where first person tutor has the videos shot, or rather only one first person tutor, which obviously is the same as first person tutor, right? You know the usual, right? You can type the formerly 1PT in the YouTube browser to find everything education and so on, right? And of course above that is the voice you're listening to right now, and this here is my setup, right? So the video that I did, the one where you saw me let me just shift the perspective a little bit. So when you see me at, you know, behind that wall right here, right? Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So if it looks like I yeah, so just for a little perspective there, yeah. So yeah, that's what happened, right? So anyhow, back around to here, right? Yeah. So right, so I pretty much rested my phone against that cup right there beside this, and I used this tablet as a, you know, a little makeshift light so that I could do the videos that you saw earlier. So yeah, you know, that's pretty much what's going on, right? So just a little bit behind the scenes of what I did. As I said, if there's a will, there's a way. So, you know, yeah, that was my attempt at having the guts to explain. Yeah, so yeah, now my other device is charging, so it's hard for me to go and take it out now and just, you know, it pays to be rich. Clearly, you know, because I mean, I clearly don't have enough phones. I clearly don't have enough tablets. Right? I clearly don't have enough. But it's fine. The beauty of life is understanding that as long as you have, if you have one device, two device, three device, four, you have the means by which to do anything. Don't let them stop you. Don't let unemployment stop you. And it will. But don't let it stop you. You know, because what's going to happen is that people think that their idea for your life is better than your own. They're going to tell you, they're going to try and overwrite. You remember the days of burning CDs with Nero and all of that? I'm from that era. They're going to try and overwrite what you had in mind. Remember that? And sometimes when I'm bored, I decide to do a bit of a switch, right? Because, you know, I don't like looking the same all the time anyway, right? No. When I came up with Out of Many One Bossman, it was a way for me to have fun and mix that with accountability. So keeping yourself accountable as well as entertaining, right, as well as feeling a sense of productivity, so that even when the worst happens, you feel like, hey, my day never went to waste, never went to a waste. So you know, you always feel that sense of, well, if nothing else got done today, I did that. If nothing else happened, I did that. The Sith is back, the Decepticons are back. So try to be more of the light than dark. Try to minimize the doubts. Try to silence the doubts. So really and truly, I really should have done it in reverse. But now I'm going to switch over to more dark than light. But it's fine. You understand the context, right? So let me do the switch. So your job is to make sure that you drown out all of the dark with your little light. Yeah? So I know I should have done this video in inverse or in the reverse, but it's fine. I wanted, you know, because since I did the switch, but it's okay. Don't worry. We have time. We do have time. Okay, I'm gonna start this over and see if I am am I consistent in theme? Let me pull it back and see. If there's a will, there's a way. So you know, yeah, that was my attempt at having the guts to explain. Yeah, so yeah. Now my other device is charging, so it's hard for me to go and take it out now and just, you know. It pays to be rich. Clearly, you know, because I mean, I clearly don't have enough phones. I clearly don't have enough tablets. Right? I clearly don't have enough. But it's fine. The beauty of life is understanding that as long as you have, if you have 1 device, 2 device, 3 device, 4, you have the means by which to do anything. Don't let them stop you. Don't let unemployment stop you. And it will, but don't let it stop you. You know, because what's going to happen is that people think that their idea for your life is better than your own. They're going to tell you, they're going to try and overwrite. You remember the days of burning CDs with Nero and all of that? I'm from that era. They're going to try and overwrite what you had in mind. Remember that? And sometimes when I'm bored, I decide to do a bit of a switch, right? Because, you know, I don't like looking the same all the time anyway, right? No. When I came up with Out of Many One Bossman, it was a way for me to have fun and mix that with accountability. So keeping yourself accountable as well as entertaining, right, as well as feeling a sense of productivity, so that even when the worst happens, you feel like, hey, my day never went to waste, never went to a waste. So you know, you always feel that sense of, well, If nothing else got done today, I did that. If nothing else happened, I did that. The Sith is back. The Decepticons are back. So try to be more of the light than dark. Try to minimize the doubts. Try to silence the doubts. So really and truly, I really should have done it in reverse. But now I'm going to switch over to more dark than light. But it's fine. You understand the context, right? So let me do the switch. So your job is to make sure that you drown out all of the dark with your little light. Yeah? So I know I should have done this video in inverse or in the reverse, but it's fine. I wanted, because since I did the switch, but it's okay. Don't worry. We have time. We do have time. It's fine. So yes, learn how to win the battle against your mind. Because your greatest enemy is going to be this one. You have Dark Samus. You have Dark Link. You have your Metroid. You have your Legend of Zelda. You have that. Right? And, well, you have your Ichigo and you have White. Right? You have your Naruto. You have Kurama. You have your Yuji and you have your Sukuna. If you know, you know. Right? If you know, you know. Hold on. Make sure that I have this. Because, I don't want to embarrass myself. You know what I mean? Even though it's a... There we go. There we go. Alright, yeah. Good. Oh. Let's make a switch. Remember, use your light to drown out the dark. Use your light to drown out the dark. You see? Majority light, minimum dark. Majority light, minimum dark. That's what you want to do. Is it tough? Yes. Yeah. It's tough. It's lit. Or lit. Life is tough. Learning is tough. But also, I will show that die when I die. I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. See? Don't drown out my light. Don't drown out my light. So yes, that's the moral of the story. You have to take the bitter with the sweet. You're going to have resistance. So make sure that you switch from never surround yourself in darkness like this, like the Sith. Always remember to switch from this into this. Always switch from that into this. All right, so that, I suppose that's my to-do list. And yeah, 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 yeah. These are just a few of the videos that I need to be uploading. Yeah. So I am, yeah. Well, you see, I'm looking at some other videos that I have outstanding, and boy, my to-do list is looking a bit crazy. It's looking crazy. Right? It's looking kind of crazy. Yeah. So I feel like I did a good amount today. Right? I did a good amount today. Now we're getting close to the 12 o'clock mark. And That's when the day gets very challenging, right? The summer has not been kind. Um, I've been working on something on the whiteboard behind me. Uh oh, right. So when it comes to videos that are 9 minutes long, I can get 5 reels out of that. For a 15-minute video, I can get nine, nine reels. So, okay. All right. All right. I think I know how I need to balance this out. So if I want to have 10, then what I need to do is have a video that's about 15 minutes long with an additional 1 minute 30 seconds, and I'll end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. I might as well get dressed and show myself. Dear God. So, I'm gonna go Metroid, right? Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll tell people that as an incentive for watching my video, you know, I'll show my face in the last maybe 30 minutes of the video. Remember when people would play Metroid and they're like, oh, what happens at the end of the game? Depending on how well you do, it shows you that Samus is actually a woman. Yeah, that was a reveal. That was a reveal. You know, sometimes you learn to be more, what's the word? I don't want to say productive, but more, no, I don't even want to say resourceful either. I want to say more effective. There we go. I want to be more effective, man. Yep. Do, 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 do. Yeah, 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes. All right, my tie is being a bit yeah, it's being a bit it's being a bit weird. All right, so all right, so I have that. I like staying close to the point. Hold on. There's something I need to do. Oh, there is something I need to do. Man, I need to do this. All right. So let's see what. All right. You know what? Let me plug out this. I'm plugging out one of my phones. I just realized that that phone probably have a whole bunch of videos that I probably have not yet uploaded. Yeah, it would be nice if those trucks would stop doing that. That's crazy. It's like I can't hear myself. Okay, that's strange. Okay, hold on. Give me a second there. Hold on. As I said, if there's a will, there's a way. So, yeah, that was my attempt at having the guts to explain. Yeah, so, yeah. Now my other device is charging, so it's hard for me to go and take it out now and just, It pays to be rich. Clearly. Because I clearly don't have enough phones. I clearly don't have enough tablets. Right? I clearly don't have enough. But it's fine. The beauty of life is understanding that as long as you have, if you have 1 device, 2 device, 3 device, 4, you have the means by which to do anything. Don't let them stop you. Don't let unemployment stop you. And it will, but don't let it stop you. Because what's going to happen is that people think that their idea for your life is better than your own. They're going to tell you, they're going to try and overwrite. You remember the days of burning CDs with Nero and all of that? I'm from that era. They're going to try and overwrite what you had in mind. Remember that? And sometimes when I'm bored, I decide to do a bit of a switch, right? Because, I don't like looking the same all the time anyway, right? No. When I came up with Auto Mini One Bossman, it was a way for me to have fun and mix that with accountability. So keeping yourself accountable as well as entertaining, right, as well as feeling a sense of productivity, so that even when the worst happens, you feel like, hey, my day never went to waste. Never went to a waste. So, you always feel that sense of, well, if nothing else got done today, I did that. If nothing else happened, I did that. The Sith is back. The Decepticons are back. So try to be more of the light than dark. Try to minimize the doubts. Try to silence the doubts. So really and truly, I really should have done it in reverse. But now I'm going to switch over to more dark than light. But it's fine. You understand the context, right? So let me do the switch. So your job is to make sure that you drown out all of the dark with your little light. Yeah? So I know I should have done this video in inverse or in the reverse, but it's fine. I wanted, because since I did the switch, but it's okay. Don't worry. We have time. We do have time. It's fine. So yes, learn how to win the battle against your mind. Because your greatest enemy is going to be this one. You have Dark Samus. You have Dark Link. You have your Metroid. You have your Legend of Zelda. You have that. Right? And, well, you have your Ichigo and you have White. Right? You have your Naruto. You have Kurama. You have your Yuji and you have your Sukuna. If you know, you know. Right? If you know, you know. Hold on. Make sure that I have this. Because, I don't want to embarrass myself. You know what I mean? Even though it's there we go. There we go. Alright, yeah. Good. Oh. Let's make a switch. Remember, use your light to drown out the dark. Use your light to drown out the dark. You see? Majority light, minimum dark. Majority light, minimum dark. That's what you want to do. Is it tough? Yes. Yeah. It's tough. It's lit. Or lit, you know, life is tough. Learning is tough. But also, I will show that die when I die. I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. See? Don't drown out my light. Don't drown out my light. So yes, that's the moral of the story. So, you know, yeah, that was my attempt at having the guts to explain. Yeah, so yeah. Now my other device is charging, so it's hard for me to go and take it out now and just, you know. It pays to be rich. Clearly, you know, because I mean, I clearly don't have enough phones. I clearly don't have enough tablets. Right? I clearly don't have enough. But it's fine. The beauty of life is understanding that as long as you have, if you have 1 device, 2 device, 3 device, 4, you have the means by which to do anything. Don't let them stop you. Don't let unemployment stop you. And it will, but don't let it stop you. You know, because what's going to happen is that people think that their idea for your life is better than your own. They're going to tell you, they're going to try and overwrite. You remember the days of burning CDs with Nero and all of that? I'm from that era. They're going to try and overwrite what you had in mind. Remember that? And sometimes when I'm bored, I decide to do a bit of a switch, right? Because, you know, I don't like looking the same all the time anyway, right? No. When I came up with Out of Many One Bossman, it was a way for me to have fun and mix that with accountability. So keeping yourself accountable as well as entertaining, right, as well as feeling a sense of productivity, so that even when the worst happens, you feel like, hey, my day never went to waste, never went to a waste. So, you know, you always feel that sense of, well, if nothing else got done today, I did that. If nothing else happened, I did that. The Sith is back. The Decepticons are back. So try to be more of the light than dark. Try to minimize the doubts. Try to silence the doubts. So really and truly, I really should have done it in reverse, but now I'm going to switch over to more dark than light, but it's fine. You understand the context, right? So let me do the switch. So your job is to make sure that you drown out all of the dark with your little light. Yeah? So I know I should have done this video in inverse or in the reverse, but it's fine. I wanted, you know, because since I did the switch, but it's okay. Don't worry. We have time. We do have time. You know, it's fine. So yes, learn how to win the battle against your mind. Because your greatest enemy is going to be this one. You have Dark Samus. You have Dark Link. You have your Metroid. You have your Legend of Zelda. You have that. Right? And, well, you have your Ichigo and you have White. Right? You have your Naruto, you have Kurama. You have your Yuji and you have your Sukuna. If you know, you know. Right? If you know, you know. Hold on. Make sure that I have this. Because, you know, I don't want to embarrass myself. You know what I mean? Even though it's a... There we go. There we go. Alright, yeah. Good. Oh. Let's make a switch. Remember, use your light to drown out the dark. Use your light to drown out the dark. You see? Majority light, minimum dark. Majority light, minimum dark. That's what you want to do. Is it tough? Yes. Yeah. It's tough. It's lit. Or lit. You know, life is tough. Learning is tough. But also, I will. That was my attempt at having the guts to explain. Yeah, so yeah. Now my other device is charging, so it's hard for me to go and take it out now and just, you know. It pays to be rich. Clearly. You know, because I mean, I clearly don't have enough phones. I clearly don't have enough tablets. Right? I clearly don't have enough. But it's fine. The beauty of life is understanding that as long as you have, if you have one device, two device, three device, four, you have the means by which to do anything. Don't let them stop you. Don't let unemployment stop you. And it will. Okay, all right, so I'm going to try and see. I have no idea what my webcam looks like right now. Let me apologize for the intermission. Yeah, sometimes you get a call and then you have to go take the call and blah, 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 blah. You know how that go. All right, let's see. Can I do this? Can I skillfully do this? All right, good. Wow. All right. All right, let me nope. See, I almost did something stupid. I almost did something stupid there. Oh Lord. Man, I almost did something stupid, man. Oh Lord. All right. All right. I think you can see me. So look here, man. Oh, that's all you have to do? Okay, cool. Right. All right, you see, hold on. All right, good. All right, yes. So, oh, right. Wait a minute. Is this? I don't think we can see all. Let me see something. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Can I do that? My God. Ah, there we go. Right, yeah. All right, good. A little bit better, a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, so let me move that. I was working something out in my head. So it's like, you know, if one person is being charged $4,000 a week, and then you multiply that by 4, then it's really $16,000 a month. If you get 10 people, that's 160, but if you get 20, that's 320 per month. So, you know, 20 is a good target to have if you're, you know, charging at a particular rate. You know, yeah, you know what I mean? The little conversion. Now, mind you, that's what this is. I mean, just helping our bossman teaching figure out something about the rates that, you know, like a Monday to Thursday class kind of thing. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe this might be an episode of Sup with My Bro, something like that. Yeah, we can do that. Now, that up here, 0 to 3, 1:30 to 4:30, then 3 to 6, 4:30 to 7:30, then what's this now? Oh, 6 to 9, 7:30 to 10:30, 9 to 12, 10:30 to 13:30, then 12 to 15. That's it. Hold on. Let me make sure it says the right thing now. 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130. Okay, yeah, it's correct. So then now 9 to 12, 10:30 to 13:30. Yeah, you see my it's throwing me off a little bit, right? The 3 up here is the 3 here. The 4:30 here is the 4:30 here. 6 here is 6 here. 7:30 here is 7:30 here. 9 here is, it almost looks like an L shape. You know, like when you're playing chess, so you go 1, 2, that to the left. 1, 2, that to the left. 1, 2, that to the left. 1, 2. You see that? Yeah, it's almost like you're playing chess. It's almost like you're playing a game of chess. So anyway, this is how you would create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reels out of a 16-minute 30 video. So, so maybe this will give you 10 reels, right? And 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So therefore this, there we go. No, that's if, you have less material to work with. Because, for example, what would the normal amount be? This would have been 5 times 3. This would have normally been a 15-minute video to create that. Now, normally, let's go again. If you multiply this by 3, you get 15. You multiply this by 3, you would have needed a 30-minute video. So instead of taking a 30-minute video to create 10 reels, you can use 16:30. Instead of using 15 minutes to create 5 reels, you can do that. At least this is a note to self, right? This is a note to self. Yeah. So just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. No, there's some things that I'm obviously. Look, man. There's some silly things that I need to do that I've done. But now I have to decide, no, okay, so let me tell you what I need to do. What I need to do is compartmentalize. So for example, my mornings can consist of being in front of the computer. And in the afternoons now, go out the door, take out my phone them, and start using. So you have laptop content creation and you have mobile content creation. That way you balance it out. And then after that, you can utilize the evenings to do, whatever else, your classes, So maybe mornings will be some content creation from the laptop and organizing some of the files and all of them things, everything that you can do, try and get it done, right? You can do that. Then now when it start touching afternoon now, especially because it's been summer, my God, this summer has been, I don't even, it's fine, It's not, but work with it. Yeah. So I'm looking at this. So 9 minutes, 9-minute mark, can get 5 reels out of it if I structure it like that. Or I can get 10 reels out of a 16-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute, 30 seconds. Okay? 16.5 minutes. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. Yeah. That's right. That's right. What is that? 33/2? Something like that. Yeah. So what else am I doing? There are a lot of things that I want to. So there are some things related to first person tutor that needs to be done. Bossman teaching that needs to be done. Right? And of course, well, this is me doing some of my due diligence. This is a reminder, note to self to say, hey, let's just get this. Yeah, let's get this going. Let's get this going. One of the things that I like doing when I do a Facebook reel, I'll download it, turn it into several clips, drop that on YouTube, and then in the reverse order, if I do a YouTube, I will go to Facebook, replay the live, and maybe stop at certain intervals, depending, just so that it's a little bit more interactive, depending on if I have, an audience, people actually paying attention to me, that sort of thing. Because we know how that goes. Sometimes you're in your life talking to yourself for a very long time. And I think you see, this is the thing. TikTok gives people a sense of accomplishment. It does. Because, for example, you're not bribing anybody, you're not selling nothing to nobody, you turn on your live and people just join. That doesn't happen on the other platforms. It doesn't happen on YouTube. And sure as hell doesn't happen on Facebook. Now you gotta be famous first. Yeah. Oh, we don't know you. Now, who is this? Who is? Whose mans is this? Whose mans is this? Come get your mans. you know? Uh-uh. So you got to have some traction, and I mean, don't get me wrong, they're rewarding you for your consistency. So if you can keep going in spite of not seeing anybody in front of you, not having anybody to gas you, not having anybody to energize you and all of that, if you can keep going in spite of that and keep that consistency going, at some point they're going to say, hey, we're going to let more people know about this thing that you're doing. You know why? Because you've committed to this. You've committed to this. You said, hey, you know what? All right. Yeah, utilize your time. We like that. Let's get to that. You know what I mean? Now let me block out that truck. Hold on. Now the irony is that I blocked out a truck that didn't even make that much noise. That's what you call irony. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Let me apologize for, So let me stand up a little bit. Yeah. So the outfit, the F of X and the F of X raised to the, yeah, the little inverse. Little inverse, Oh, so you have that. And you have that. There's a reason why I did that, you know what I mean? Yeah, because I can always switch to the other outfit, can do it, while I speak to you, I can switch to the other outfit. Yeah. Something is in my head at the moment. Um, what time is it now? It is almost 12. It's almost 12. Almost 12. Yeah, see, this is how I keep myself in a good mood. You know, this is how I keep myself in a good mood, because the truth of the matter is, you know, um, it's rather, it's whatever. I feel like, you just have to accept that you will never get supported until you win. And then as soon as you start winning now, the same people that did not believe in you at all, they're going to say, oh, always knew you were up to something big. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You told everybody I was unemployed. You told everybody that I wasn't making any money. You told everybody that I was You know, you told everybody everything else, but you certainly didn't tell them that you believed in what I was doing. You didn't tell them that. You left out that part. You never tell nobody saying you never believe in it. And that's the burden that you have to carry no matter what. And there, there's a I think I can find that video. I'll go look for it. I might have to switch out my phone. I might have to switch out my phone. I will switch out my phone because I want people to listen to this particular video. I might play it and not necessarily show it, but I want to get to it. I want to find it. So let me go looking for this video. Okay, hold on. Let me turn on my volume all the way down. Yeah. All right, cool. So I found it. Found the video. All right. All right. So this video I think is very important to listen to. And this is no shade to the guy that's making the video, but I want to make an important point. So I might as well make the point here while I'm going live. So why not? Oh, that was weird. Yeah. Why is it so slow? Damn. I mean, is this in real time? Man, is the computer overheating? Yeah. Oh, see? Computer might have been overheating at some point. I don't know. That was kind of crazy. That was crazy. I didn't like that at all. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, let me go ahead and play this video for everybody's benefit. All right, hold on. Yeah, I'm unmuted and everything. So, okay, hold on. So I'm gonna play it from the top. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know. Let's see.
Teach a woman how to get an ass when I have a pancake one. Why am I not getting clients? Well, the information you are speaking is great, but your results don't fucking tell them that you know what you're talking about. It's like to say if I was a business coach, but I only ever made a couple $1,000s, you're not going to trust me. But if I was to say I'm a business coach and I've made 35 plus million over my business career, you're going to pay attention. If you don't have the thing that you're trying to teach people how to achieve, you shouldn't be teaching it. Otherwise, everyone's going to see you as a fraud. Like the information coming in your mouth is probably right? You need to eat more, you need to progressively overload, you need to train, but there's only a certain amount of time, like even myself, where I can talk about building muscle until there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, I want to be bigger than you. And I'm like, fair. But I'm like, again, I have the self-awareness to be like, I understand. I need to put in the fucking reps for the next year to be able to build the body that I want to have even more authority. A lot of these people don't understand that shit.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard that. I don't know. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know. And I'm smarter than that. I can actually play the video. I can actually port it to the computer and play it, but I'm a little bit too lazy at the moment, to be honest. I can do that, but I'd have to plug in my listen, my youth. I can tell you this. Let's talk about technology. Once upon a time, you had 4 USB ports on your laptop. No, you're lucky if you see 1 USB port on your laptop. Like they're like you're getting less. I mean, laptops not coming with a CD-ROM makes sense. We're not using as much of that anymore, and we have cloud storage. We don't need CDs. Yeah, I mean, CDs and DVDs, like we don't even need that no more. Right? We have external hard drives and all of that. So it's like, what's the point of all that? We don't need that. Okay, cool. We accepted that we don't need that anymore. All right. So here's the problem that I have though. Let's really look at why that is important, yeah? Because when you look at where technology is coming from, right? You had the 3.5 floppy. You had the CD-ROM. After a while, people started putting in their own DVD-RW so they could burn CDs and all of that. Remember the desktop days, because I'm going back to all of that. I'm going back to the essence of when we started using computers and all of that, right? So I remember that. Now, the reason why I am bringing that up is because in relation to this machine that I'm using right now, because I don't have as many USB ports, it's difficult for me to say, all right, well, may have a mouse, I have a mouse. I'm currently using my mouse because the trackpad is not reliable. You're better off using a mouse. So one USB port is occupied. Now the other one, I'm using the webcam. Once upon a time, you had 4 USB ports. So now, if you wanted to plug in your phone, you could plug in your phone. You see? You can't do that now, can you? What is that? Yeah, anyway. That's so see, you're probably thinking that what I was saying was not relevant, but it was. Because the video that I want to show you can't really show you the way that I want to, because now I have to go plug out something. I either have to plug out the, what am I gonna do? It's a catch-22. I either lose the mouse, right? And get the phone to plug in for the video, and then I have to even find the video in the first place. What's the file name of the video? I don't even know. Thank God for pressing on details, looking for the name of the video, select all, copy and paste, go in the search bar, enter it in the search bar. Oh, there goes your video. Because it will match. Because that's sort of your primary key, meaning your unique identifier. So that way, oh, only anything possessing that particular sequence will pop up. You should only have one. If you have two, then it means you have duplicates. There you go, right? So if you know, you know. And if you know, you know. You know, I'm not, no, at the risk of being slightly unprofessional, that nigga is going to hell. He is certainly going to hell. I promise you he's going to hell. I promise you he's going to hell. That's a story for another day. Story for another day. Anyway, what was I supposed to tell you now? Yeah, it's getting close to the warmer time of the day. I'm not looking forward to that. Honestly, it's not. Oh my God, it's not a good time. Oh yeah, I've ignored LinkedIn for a number of days, and it's so. Listen, man. Listen, I go tell you what I'm gonna do. Pay attention to me. I feel like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up some of my lady friends and say to them, look, I'm gonna pay for you to do some digital marketing, like bachelor's in digital marketing. And after I pay you to, or rather I pay for that, for you to do that, when you get the degree, as soon as you come out, you already have a job because you're working for me. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Because at this point, I'm not trying to do all of this crap by myself. Because you can for a little bit, but forever and ever, amen? No. No, I'm not doing that. Because you were mad. Because you were mad. You were mad. You were mad. You will mad. Okay. You were mad. So I can build a team. I'll say, look, I'm sending you to digital marketing school. Okay. I'll even help you with the assignments. I'll even help you write. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. And then when I'm done doing that, yeah, you come and you work for me. Yeah. Yeah, you can't run out of work and you ain't getting fired. That's right. It's that nepotism. It's not what you know, it's who you know. There you go. There you go. Okay. Good. Hope we understand that. So, yeah. So I'm probably going to try and follow that rule that I gave to myself. So, this was a slightly unprofessional presentation. I appreciate you guys for paying attention for any amount of time that you did. Learning. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have some fun. Let me try and record a little bit of this. What? Why are you in my face? Come on. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. The light. Are you seeing the light? Oh Lord. Yeah. All right. So all right, hold on. Hold on. Yeah. Oh my God. 59 minutes and 32 seconds. Yeah. So I'm gonna share this video to the, so you see this part of the live. Yeah. Who knows? I'll probably make this a 30-second video. You have to have discipline, Man, listen, man. Listen, man. So this is my setup. This is how I got my video to look the way that it does. Okay. So yeah, sorry. Yeah, I had to turn the fan away because it's blowing into the phone, right? It's not a lot of fun. So yeah. So that's what this looks like. So that's the light that's pouring back into this direction so that you can actually see, right? Here's the webcam right here. Right? So that's the setup, right? This is what the setup looks like. So yeah. Enjoy. Right? Oh, yeah. Hold on. Do I need to do this? Nah, I don't think I need to do that. You know why? Because it's a reel, and the reel is going to go up as a story. So you might as well do a 9x16. Listen to me. Listen to me. If people understood the amount of stress that you go through to understand how all of this works, and then on top of it, you have to, come on. You know what? Yeah, we're going to do it like this time. How about that? Yeah, we're going to do that. Yeah? I'm not even looking at my phone. No, I'm not even going to look. Yeah? So we're just going to let 30 seconds pass by casually. That's what we're going to do. All right? So what's that? 14, 16, 17. Yeah. So anyhow, that's my setup. You're looking at my setup, okay? That's what it is. Yeah? 2 more seconds, there we go. Yep. That's it. That's it. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna take this tie off because I'm literally dying. So yeah. Hopefully you guys had fun. And this was a slightly unprofessional presentation with Bossman rambling on. And yeah, I will continue to ramble on, and I have some work to do. Too much of it. You have to decide. See that? There's a line of symmetry here. And then on this side, you have the content consumer, but on this side, you have the content creator. So you got to decide what degree you see how the geometry playing in? Yeah. How many degrees of consumer are you? Are you just a little bit of a consumer, or are you leaning more towards creator? You see that? Look at maths. Yeah, so I'm losing the time. I feel a little better anyway. Thanks for helping me to stay consistent. As I always tell you, honor your commitments. And I will say, I will show that die when I die, which means I will show that discipline is everything when I do it every time. or die when you die, which is discipline is everything when you do it every time. Yeah. And also, well, thank God I'm going live, because at least when I go live, it have a post same time. So isn't that fun? Yeah. When you go live, you don't have to worry about, oh well, when am I going? Yeah, it will post automatic. So I guess that takes care of that, you know. Yeah. So you're pretty good. Yeah, that's a if you know, you know. If you don't know. So later, guys. Later, I will see you next